One man's dream can eclipse even the most pure of hearts, but innocent minds can only seek one thing, the desire to be loved. Can obsession and a fool's desire overcome the eternal ring of destiny? Or in this world, is ambition equal to madness?
So the first piece that I wanted to show you guys is my blue velvet corset dress. This look was kind of inspired by the Ashniko look that I did earlier this year, which was one of my absolute favorite pieces to create. And it's this amazing blue velvet that's just bonded to a neoprene, which gives it the structure and the shape that I love when trying to get my really exaggerated silhouettes. So here we go. So I'm cutting the pieces out here, and this is on my bonded velvet. I love this fabric because the structure is there, but it's not it's structured, but it's moldable. So I really love working with this. So once I've cut out all the pieces, I will start sewing the pieces together, of course. Okay, so here I am cutting out the heart core of the dress, and what I did was kind of just free-handed a heart shape in pins because I didn't want to write on the fabric and I didn't have a pattern for it. So I just kind of put the pins around where I thought I wanted the shape and started cutting out around the pins, only on one side. And see, then here I flipped it. I flipped the cutout part onto the other side of the center front and started cutting that out so that it would be symmetrical on each side. And it was kind of scary because obviously once you cut it, that's it, you know? And now the cutout is going to be filled in with a blue organza. So that piece has already been cut to the pattern, cut out, sewn up. Now I'm just adding the blue organza to the part that I cut out. And if you see, I've already pinned it around the edge. Now I'm just attaching the boning, which is actually attaching the blue organza to the blue velvet. So after stitching on some of my boning, I have to just go back and trim some of the seam allowance that's left over. Now I'm going to start hand stitching on some extra boning. I just personally love doing hand stitching. Almost every single one of my pieces has a considerable amount of hand stitching. But for this in particular, I just felt like I had more control doing it by hand because of how like cinched in the waist is and how curved these seams are, I just prefer doing it by hand. But honestly, I just feel like hand stitching really gives it a little something extra, you know? It's like sometimes I feel like the more labor that I put into it and the more like the harder it is, just the more beautiful it becomes. So yeah, I can literally spend hours and hours just hand stitching, and I love doing it. Now that I've sewn on all my boning, I'm gonna add a velvet trim over top of the boning. This is just purely to add more dimension and kind of an extra layer of detail. Nook's Cranny never has anything good. Always has the same shit. So now we're looking at the back of the dress. And on either side of the center back, I've already marked some placements for my eyelets. And you see me going in with my awl, which is a really sharp tool that I use to pierce the fabric and create the hole for my eyelet. Alright, so now I'm gonna use my hand press to install my eyelet. So you just, put your eyelet on the machine, put your washer on the back, and you just press it. Gotta make sure your fingers are out of the way because that would really suck. So I'm gonna just do that for all these eyelets, and this will make it to where I can lace it up the back and cinch it in just like a corset. And now here I am lacing up the back, and we're about done. Hopefully you could kind of see how much actually goes into creating one of my pieces. I know I didn't show all of it, but tried to give you at least an idea of the amount of work and different processes that go into it. So here I am just adding a few more hand stitching details and
Can reflection cast the shadow of regret? Will fervent obsession entangle all who pursue their heart? One thing is sure, no man can run from his dream.